Pregnant Lust 24-pack, books 1 through 24. Pregnancy Erotica, Pregnant Sex, Public Sex, Age Gap Erotica Collection. Written by Millie King, narrated by Kline.
So horny, I'd have anyone, even my ex-teacher. Pregnant Lust 1. Pregnancy Erotica, Pregnant Sex, Public Sex, Age Gap Erotica. I had heard stories about how horny women become in their second trimester and beyond, but I never thought it was 100% true. I could buy into the raging hormones, but the monumental lust and desire was something I didn't truly believe until I experienced it. The tremors of quiet arousal had been building for the past few days, and it came to a head in the craziest way possible that day. I'd arranged to meet my ex-teacher, Mr. Graham, for coffee, and a catch-up at a quiet little place outside of town. Since leaving college, we'd inexplicably kept in touch, and he was by now a close friend. Being pregnant had kind of made me feel on top of the world. I got constant compliments on how glowing my skin suddenly was, or how shiny my hair had become. Strangers would approach me and ask all kinds of questions, with some of them asking if they could touch my bump. At 26, I'd never known anything like it. Just the other week, an older man had approached me whilst I was clothes shopping and asked if he could feel the baby. Something about his touch on my stomach felt incredible. The adulation of strangers was intoxicating. I started to feel like a goddess, embracing the strength of womanhood that had blossomed so fully inside me. My body was changing, but so too was my mind. "You get bigger every time I see you," Mr. Graham said as he got up from his chair. He put a hand on my swollen stomach as he kissed my cheek, and I closed my eyes to his touch. I was practically quivering from the drive over. Sitting in a vibrating car seat had done things to me that I couldn't imagine. "How are you?" I asked, taking a seat that he pulled out from the table. "I'm good. How are you, more importantly? Baby kicking?" I sat on the hard wood and felt the wetness of my sex against my panties. I took a deep, calming breath as he rounded the table to sit opposite. A flash of concern struck him. "Everything okay, Kelsey?" "Uh-huh." I nodded, keeping my eyes closed for the second and taking several calming breaths. It felt as though, if I didn't compose myself, I'd burst with orgasm right there in the shop. Thankfully, the place was quiet, so my brief bout of arousal didn't attract any attention. "You sure?" I opened my eyes slowly with a breath and a smile. "I'm sure." The look of concern on his face took some time to fade, but eventually he started to relax as we sipped coffee and talked. At intervals, I'd squirm in my seat, smoothing my pussy over the hard wood, and imagining being with someone, anyone, who could sate the immense lust that I felt. "So," Mr. Graham said, around 20 or so minutes in, "have you been getting the lust?" My eyes flashed wide as I stared across at him in the ensuing silence. It was as though he could hear my thoughts. "You know, my wife and I did it 3 times a day at her peak," he continued. "She couldn't stop herself." The revelation was a relief. It was nice to hear that my experience wasn't just my own. I wiped my hands down my face and let out a faux moan of anguish. I'm so glad it's not just me." He laughed. "You're not alone, Kelsey," he said. "Heck, I bet you're horny right now, aren't you?" I pursed my lips and blushed. "It's all right," he said, reaching across the table to hold my hand. "It's normal, honey. You're not an alien." Mr. Graham was in his late 40s. He looked after himself well, but it hadn't stopped his black hair turning ashen in places. The gray smatterings gave him a mature illusion.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?